and welcome to another episode of Wear Many Hats. My name's Rachel, and this is the podcast totally dedicated to the FM and property industry. Today we have a wonderful guest with us, and it's Friday today. We have Elisa Brashkova. She is the property consultant at EB Estates. Welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. It's really nice to be here.
It is wonderful to have you, and it's Friday.
Hi.
Thanks for coming down. Did you come from far this morning?
Thank you for having me. Not too far, no. It only took me under an hour, so that's okay.
Not too bad then. It's all right. When we live in London, it's quite straightforward, isn't
it?
So we're going to go into your past a little bit. Are you ready to rewind it back?
Sure, let's do it.
So let's go back a bit. Where did it all start for you?
It started off in lettings and sales to begin with.
Okay.
I was doing a placement year during my university time. And from there on, I found myself switching to property management.
Right.
I started working in Rent and Ridner as an assistant property manager.
Great company.
Yeah, it's an amazing company. It gave me a really good head start in terms of training, support, mentorship. They were really amazing. And from there on, I just kind of progressed within the industry, worked with multiple stakeholders, commercial, residential, leasehold, build to rent. And it sort of just started on from there and built up.
Sort of snowballed into it.
Exactly.
So did you always sort of know that you'd end up in on this path, or?
Honestly, property wasn't necessarily the dream from childhood. I came to the UK alone quite young.
Yes.
So independence and adaptability became part of my personality early on. What I found myself naturally drawn towards what was in property was operationally driven environments with complexity and responsibility.
Yeah.
So I quite early on realized that there's something I enjoy and I can make a meaningful impact on people's lives from my work.
Yes.
And it was quite rewarding.
Yes, I think it's a great role, sort of workplace, anything to do with workplace, and creating those environments for people to enjoy where they work. You know, I think it's wonderful. And who or sort of what gave you that real sort of push in your career?
I can't really name a single thing, I suppose. It was a mix of people who mentored me, who supported me, and also, again, coming here quite young, I had to grow up really early and really fast.
You were 16.
Correct.
Gosh, that's so
when I came here.
Wow.
So, I think it kind of gives you a different type of motivation where you just have to keep going.
Yeah, of course. And there's people along your career, obviously, that have helped you along the way.
Absolutely. I've had some great mentors. Particularly, there was a mentor whilst I was working at Highbury. She was operational head of department. She really helped support me for my journey, taught me a lot on, a personal and professional level. She had an amazing work ethic, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah, so you sort of embraced that.
Absolutely, and especially being a woman in this industry can sometimes be quite challenging.
Yes.
It's still heavily male-dominated industry, and although I did have some amazing male mentors that I learned a lot from, that's not to say that I've never been into challenging environments where,
of course,
I was questioned just because, rather than based on my competence or expertise.
Yeah.
So she really helped me overcome that and look at it from a different perspective, I suppose.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. And then your dad, you mentioned your dad to me before the show.
Yeah. Funny enough, he's actually also into property. He owns a small commercial property business, and he used to take me to his meetings quite early on, a young age.
Yeah.
Never really thought that was a driving factor at any point, but now I'm realizing that probably it was planting seeds along the way.
Yeah.
And eventually I still came to it on my own accord.
Yes.
And I think property always intrigued me.
Yeah.
Although I didn't study anything related in university about property, I did international business. Somehow I still came to it.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk about what you're doing at the moment. What does a day in your world actually look like these days?
You know what? It can be quite different, and I think the best way to describe it is one moment reviewing compliance strategy or major operational risks, and the next I'm handling resident complaints, concerns, contractor issues, or budgeting discussions. I think people outside of this industry quite often underestimate how much communication and emotional intelligence goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
Technical knowledge matters enormously.
Yeah.
But the ability to navigate people, pressure, competing priorities, is what really defines excellent operator.
Yeah, definitely. Juggling people and different characters is quite a tough thing sometimes, you know. And I think the more that you are interacting with people, this is why it's so good to come back into the office, you know, because then you're seeing and dealing with people on a day-to-day basis, and it helps you to grow and evolve as a person.
Absolutely. I think, you know, quite often we underestimate how important communication is.
Oh, yeah.
We just get on with our days and we do what we need to do. We fix things, we make sure it's safe, it's compliant. However, it's not necessarily seen to someone who has not much knowledge about the industry or about what really goes on behind it. You come into a place, you see everything is working, right? Everything looks smooth, it looks effortless. So there is a sort of an assumption that, you know, property management or estate management is quite administrative. But it's so much more than that.
Very hands-on.
You know, and exactly, it's very hands-on. It's exactly, I think your podcast reflects it so well. You have to wear many hats.
This is it.
You have to know so many things about so many things that perhaps, you know, in other industry you're not as exposed to, I suppose. And also emotional intelligence is key here because we're not just dealing with properties, we're dealing with people's homes, and there is such a strong emotional, psychological connection there. Which I think often we maybe underestimate that, you know, if something doesn't work in your office, you won't be as stressed when something doesn't work in your home.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, exactly. You can leave it and go home and everything works there. Or
basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and someone will fix it. But yeah, you have to sort of report your own problems at home, don't you? And make sure this
100%, you know, and it's our place of safety. It's something we're all really invested in. I think a lot of people, they aspire to own a property because it's so important. It's you know, it's like a certain milestone in life when you become a property owner.
Yes.
So when anything goes wrong, there's so much emotion attached to that to make it right, because ultimately it's where we feel safe.
Yeah, I agree. And let's talk challenges. What's testing you right now in your role?
I think the biggest challenge across the industry right now is that the expectations have accelerated a lot faster than the operational structures.
Okay.
And compliance obligations are increasing, reporting expectations are increasing, so are the residents' expectations.
Yes.
But many teams are still operating with systems and structures that were never designed for today's level of complexity.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of operators are stuck in reactive mode rather than strategic mode. Trying to catch up, which can create burnout, inconsistency, and communication breakdowns.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got all the costs involved, increasing costs.
Indeed. And, you know, it does put a pressure on both, as much as professionals, but also the residents. There is a...
Everything's more expensive. Yeah.
Indeed, you know, having to break that down and explain and, you know, maintain that trusting relationship where, you know, this is what we have to do, this is why we have to do it, I think is really important in this period. Yeah,
definitely. It's great that you're able to deal with those challenges. So where do you think the industry is heading, and what excites you? You mentioned a few things then, you know, sort of around tech and remote working, ESG, AI, and that sort of stuff. There's a question on AI, obviously, but what sort of excites you moving forwards?
I think the industry is slowly becoming more transparent, more accountable, and more operationally mature.
Yeah.
And I think this is what feeds into rebuilding that trust between the property management world and the residents. I think over time, due to perhaps some misunderstanding, misrepresentation perhaps, or just underestimation of what really goes into property management, there has been some breakdown in trust overall. Whereas now I feel like the residents are more empowered. And although it might, in some occasions, can make our work a little bit more complex,
of course,
I also think there is a huge benefit in there, because the more educated our residents are, the more they appreciate what we have to do for them in order to achieve that.
Because they can see it, can't they?
Exactly.
They can see what you're doing in the background.
I do think that long term is going to be a huge benefit to everyone, really. Although it will take some time to get there.
I definitely think tech helps as well.
100%.
To speed things along. And and then the next question is obviously around AI and artificial intelligence. Is it a friend or foe in your world? Do you use it?
Definitely more friend than foe.
Yeah.
If used properly. I do think AI will remove a lot of administrative friction from the industry, like reporting, data analysis, communication support, document handling, and trend tracking, which can save us a lot of time on actual meaningful, impactful work, which I think often we do struggle with because of so much administrative tasks that we have to do, and they take quite a big chunk of our time.
Yes.
But I do not think it replaces human judgment.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Property is still fundamentally about people, relationships, negotiation, trust, and decision-making under pressure. And that's something where AI just can't step in.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So whilst it can support operators, it can replace emotional intelligence or leadership, which we bring in.
Yeah. I think, having... where we are here today at Labs, we have the reception team there. You come in, you're greeted. It makes you feel more comfortable, more safe.
Absolutely.
And that goes the same for residential places as well. If there is people on site or nearby, I think it just makes you feel a lot more comfortable.
No, indeed so. And I think you've also given an example, right? When you call customer support and you're talking to a robot.
Yes.
We just want to speak to a human and express ourselves, get an actual answer. So this is where, I don't think AI will replace humans in that regard. However, it can certainly aid us to get what we need, to get done what we need to get done.
Yeah, I agree. I can find that a little frustrating sometimes. I just want to speak to someone,
Someone who understands exactly what I'm about to say.
Just say speak to an advisor. That's what I say on every menu choice we get to. So ESG is a buzzword at the moment. What does it really mean to you and your work and probably your clients?
I think for me, ESG only has value if it's operational real. We have to ask ourselves the question, how does it actually translate into day-to-day decision-making?
Yeah.
Are we communicating transparently?
Yeah.
Are we thinking long-term? Are we treating our buildings as our long-term assets?
Yeah.
Are we improving buildings responsibly? And I think all of that feeds into ESG, and it does become really meaningful rather than just terminology, but it has to be applied and integrated into day-to-day rather than just being a buzzword. Yeah,
of course. And I think people are more aware of it now.
Certainly.
It's not just a buzzword. I think it's being implemented, especially around the environmental piece and the community piece, especially for, say, residents, getting more involved in the community, bringing back sort of community spirit. I think post-COVID, I feel a real shift towards that. Because we lost touch with humans then, didn't we?
100%. And I think it was so necessary. I do think that ESG is moving towards the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's how we, save what we have in essence.
Yes.
And, reinstate what we've ruined in terms of like nature and human connection and so on and so on and so forth. So I think it's crucial. It's really important. And I'm glad that a lot of companies are implementing it in day to day.
Yeah. And helping the community in terms of sort of working with charities and working with those in need. I think a lot of businesses are doing that now. It's great to see.
So.
Yeah, close to my heart, that is. So I think you kind of covered this earlier, but do you think the industry is innovating fast enough, or are we still playing catch up?
I do think the intention is there, but I also feel like we're not moving as fast as it's required by all the changes we're facing. Some organizations are innovating brilliantly, whilst others are still heavily reliant on reactive systems, fragmented communication, stretched out teams.
Yeah, and
the industry is evolving, but probably not yet at the speed of legislation, residents' expectations, and operational complexity now demand.
And also again, we come to cost again. Some companies can excel and push forward. They have the means, but smaller companies, smaller businesses may need more time to catch up and follow those that are in the lead, But I think it is slowly coming.
I think it's getting there, and I think the further we go, the more adapted we become, the better we understand what is required of us, and it's all going into that direction.
Yeah, I agree. And looking back, what moment or project are you still very proud of today?
I'm probably most proud of the situations where we've been able to bring stability into difficult operational systems and environments. Walking into a state where communication is fragmented,
Yeah.
compliance visibility is quite low, teams are overwhelmed, and being able to turn that around, gradually rebuilding structure, accountability, and trust, that was really rewarding for me. And I've had quite a few of those experiences.
Yes.
One project in particular involved significantly improving compliance visibility and operational performance within a relatively short period of time. I mean, relatively, it was
Really quick.
really quick, yes.
And you had to turn it all around.
But frankly, like the biggest achievement wasn't particularly in numbers. It was creating a calmer environment for the team where they could succeed and strive.
Yeah, and they were already in place, and you kind of came in and had to. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it was, it's more about creating a transparent and comfortable environment for both residents, teams, and uniting them, sort of reminding them we're all here for the same purpose, we're all here for the same goal.
Yeah.
And helping them get there.
Lovely. And then obviously you'll get the best out of the team that way as well when you're working with them. That's lovely. I hear that a few times, that working with teams is one of their most proudest moments. And obviously, coming over here at the age of 16, that must be a pretty proud moment to where you are now. You've been here a little while now, haven't you? So
yes, you are correct. I mean, looking back, I think probably I wouldn't be as brave now, perhaps, travel to a new country without knowing anyone and starting my life fresh. But I think it was a good time for me because I had no fear and I wasn't looking back. So I think it definitely helped. And, I am quite proud where I've come.
Yeah. And you go home. Where's your home?
My home is here.
Your home is here. Your other home. Moldova, yeah. So you go back and visit family and stuff.
Correct.
They must be very proud of you as well.
Yes, they are. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm the only one who actually sort of moved out. So it's been tough on both sides.
Of course.
You do go for periods where, you wish things were different and
closer.
Exactly. Sometimes it can be, tough. I go to see them a few times a year, and every time I go there, they get older and you just feel like you miss out on a lot of time. But at the same time, it makes it worth it when I know I'm progressing here. And, it kind of like, it's not in vain, shall we say.
Sometimes when things are close to us, we take it for granted. So,
indeed,
when you're so far and then you go home, you get some real quality time, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, if they live like 5 minutes down the road, probably wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
But where I get to see them like for a week or 2 weeks in a whole year, I mean, every single minute is so precious.
Of course, yeah. Oh, I love that. So what's something you wish you knew when you were starting out?
I think I wish I knew that technical knowledge is not enough, although it's enormously important and you can't do the job without it. But I think emotional intelligence is just that.
Yeah.
Communication is key, and I know a lot of people do say that, but I mean, it's so crucial here, because depending on how you communicate, it can either build relationship, build trust, or completely destroy it, and it really makes a difference. I think, for example, when companies tender for a contract, right?
Yeah.
I think communication always going to stand out. Being able to communicate yourself clearly, build that relationship, and also follow through in your actions.
Yeah.
I think that's what really, really makes us stand out.
I'm getting that coming from your interview today, that communication is key, and something that, if you were younger, you would definitely say this to your younger self, communicate, get out there, network. I think that's so important as well.
Indeed,
get to know people, and the more people you have in your army, the better, especially when it comes to work,
Yes, and it's good to have like-minded individuals in your environment, because you can bounce off each other's ideas, you can share the growth and the knowledge. And I think most of us can say the same, that we've grown because of the people around us.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree with that. So if someone came to you tomorrow saying, I want to do what you do, what would you say to them?
I would tell them to be curious, ask questions, not be afraid. And I think this industry it's very rewarding. It's very exciting, but also it can be tough.
Yeah.
You can't take things personal.
You need to be a bit thick-skinned. Yes.
100%. Yes. It's not about us. Sometimes certain situations can invoke certain emotions in residents, right? Which you just have to kind of focus on the problem, find the solution, fix it. Don't take it too much too hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not personal. I think I wish I'd known that when I was starting out. I was so sensitive. I still am a little bit, but feel like it's a personal attack on you, but it's really not.
It's really not, yeah.
And it helps to develop you getting sort of constructive criticism or feedback on some of your work maybe, or just try not to take it too personally, isn't it? I think I wish I'd known that.
Yeah, definitely. I think myself as well. I was done sooner.
Yeah.
But eventually came to it that
just get it solved.
Get it solved.
Yeah.
That's literally what we do. We get things fixed, we make them safe.
Yeah, definitely. So let's switch off of work. What do you like to do outside your day job?
I like going for walks. I'm quite, I like being in the nature, switch off from the day to day, the emails, the constant,
noise.
Yeah, exactly. This environment. So just, I'm into music. I used to play piano.
Wow.
I read. I like, quite interested in psychology, understanding how that all works. I think it really links into a lot of aspects of our lives as well.
Yeah.
And just, spending time with my family.
Yeah. Love that. And you live in London, don't you? So going out to the country is...
It's nice. I'm quite lucky that I live, frankly, close to the country.
Yes,
so,
you're on the edges of London.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I have forest right next to me, beautiful lakes, and it helps like all over the weekend just to switch off.
Yeah,
and just have your little peace place.
And it's warm at the moment, so it's great time to get out in the sun while it's around.
Indeed.
You never know when it might go.
Never know. True.
So last one, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
I think I would say you can't control everything around you, but you can control how you respond. And in our industry specifically, your calmness is your superpower.
Wow, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, you can't control people, places and things. So, you can only control what you do, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. And,
and how you react. And
if you know you've done your absolute best and you know in your heart you did, there's nothing else that you can do. Why would you stress?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't change it,
Yeah.
So I think, and also when you're reactive, you do lack best judgment. So being able to remain calm under pressure is exactly the superpower.
Yes.
That helps us in this industry make the right and tough decisions in the moments of crisis.
Yeah.
And help the teams come out of it as well.
Yeah.
And you can't do it when you're being emotional or you're allowed, yourself get overwhelmed.
Sensitive. In
a way, yes. I mean, you have to sort of, just focus on the solution. And then once it's done, you can sort of process it. But
I think
it's a really useful skill.
Definitely. That is a brilliant bit of advice, actually. Thank you so much for coming along to share your journey with us. And I can see, you've got a great career ahead of you, and we're all linked in on LinkedIn. So I'll see your journey, no doubt, ahead of us. If anybody has any questions for Elisa, please reach out. That's okay to do so on LinkedIn, isn't it?
Thanks a lot for having me. Really nice to see you, Rachel.
Lovely. And I'm afraid that's the end of today's episode of Wear Many Hats. Please do like, comment, share, and forward on Elisa's podcast interview today to anyone that's wanting to get into the property workplace industry. Until next time, take care.